Hello, welcome to this session. Today's task is based on using AI agents, and I'm thinking I want to do a sprint, sort of a 2-hour sprint, and see how much we can do or we can look into when we are looking at AI agents, and basically come up with a product or a tool or something like a demo or something like that around AI agents. So I'm gonna set the timer to 2 hours and see how much you can cover in 2 hours. So I will press start and just walk you through the first minutes and then probably do a time lapse until the 2 hours is over. So in this case, press start. So I was thinking something about LLM tools for AI agents in healthcare. And I just did my research looking at things. So thinking of building something out of this, but I've not yet made a decision on what really I want to build. So what this session will do, we'll be doing sort of the research, trying to validate our idea and see how much you can get done at the end of this 2-hour sprint. Okay, so I will just continue and then see how far we can go with this. So just follow along. I think right now we've got 45 minutes to go. So the basic idea of just what happened over the past around 1 hour 15 minutes was to see if we can think of something and then develop it very fast. So the idea is just to come up with something visual. I think that's the best way to put it, something visual. And in this case, it's just the idea of, okay, what are the various open source data out there that you can integrate just to come up with a project. So in this case, I'll just start over here in my README file. In this case, okay, the idea is how can we come up with an LLM agent in the Kenyan healthcare space to do some certain activity. That's essentially the goal of this, maybe this sprint. And it's not really to make something for selling or for deployment immediately, but just to give you that thought of this can happen in this manner, in this manner, and this other manner. So the idea here is, okay, for you to do that, what kind of tools do you use? Do you need? What kind of problem are you solving and all kind of stuff? So to just ground that problem, I studied this paper, which comes from this publication. So we'll just open it up. It was MedCalc, OpenMedCalc, something like yeah. So this was the inspiration basically, and OpenMedCalc, for example, is an open source medical calculation API created to meet the standards of modern web protocols. So I think this UI UX, number one, appealed to me. Number two, it's elegant. And when you now press this, that's when it leads you to the article. When you press this, it leads you now to the chatbot where you can key in your values, and I think it's powered by OpenAI, and yeah, basically that. So that's OpenMedCalc. So the idea is, okay, how do we get here? But obviously, getting here takes time. It's expensive. You need to do hundreds of iterations. You need proper software developers or people who have worked with code to do this over and over. Because we just want to come up with something that can ground our visuals, then we need to spin something very fast. So in this case, this is the paper. I haven't gone over it yet, so I'll go over it to give me a good sense of how to apply LLMs in medicine in general. But the idea here is, how do you give agents that AI, that agentic workflow within the Kenyan healthcare space? So that was what was playing in my mind. So in this case, then I moved to, let me say, sort of a sandbox kind of thing, somewhere where I start teasing my ideas, just laying out my ideas from the way they just come in my head. Not refined, nothing, not trying to, for example, give an ultimate solution. So in this case, my go-to model is DeepSeek, just to start that first iteration of just laying out ideas and bouncing it back, just offering what is available out there, and just to generate that initial bit of code for me, just to see how things are working. So in this case, that's what I did with DeepSeek. We went back and forth, trying to figure out what kind of project we can have going on. And it gives me this kind of infrastructure or overview of what needs to happen. Okay, so that's what essentially DeepSeek is for, because it's a free LLM agent. It's an open source LLM agent. Won't cost me anything. I use it because now then I can go on and on with it, back and forth, and just try to figure things out where things are. So the essence of doing this in DeepSeek is I want to get that overview, basic overview of what is needed. So, for example, my data files, my project structure, which might include, for example, my project requirements, the connectors, even if I need scripts for pulling data, scripts for the front end, and all that kind of stuff. A simple backend using, not really backend, but some of the things that might run in the backend, like Flask and all kind of stuff. So that's what essentially DeepSeek is for, to get me going fast. You can use other models like ChatGPT, Gemini. Those are also good, but that raw basic idea, just want to get things done, I use DeepSeek. So through this back and forth, then I discover, okay, a good data source to go with, or my good place to start with if you're thinking about procurement and all that kind of stuff, then would be KEMSA, would be MOH, would be what else did they include? PPB. So the idea here is, again, we are in that regulatory kind of space, and I'm trying to just build on some of the things I've been doing in the past, like doing from the previous work we've been doing in PPB, records, data, and kind of stuff. It gives you that perspective on how the landscape is. So given that in mind, then the idea is, okay, how can I use KEMSA, PPB, and MOH calendar to come up with something? Okay. So then, yeah, then bounce that back again with DeepSeek. But I think one important thing that I was able to do was now go into depth in terms of trying to look at the Kenyan MOH calendar, see what is available out there. So this is what I was looking at from the links. I was just viewing the kind of calendars, the kind of data that is out there. So one thing you realize, that this kind of data is not your tabular data. It's more of PDFs, documents, and other kind of stuff, which MOH has plenty of. And some of these things I really didn't know. So when you come into the MOH page, you see there's even a news and events kind of output. So this is good data source for you to try and do some AI agent kind of projects with. So again, something that I just discovered right now. So this is now registered at the back of my mind as potential data sources when I'm thinking about AI agent in healthcare. One thing that I didn't go into depth is maybe KEMSA, but KEMSA, I know it has similar things. So for example, we have datasets over here, resources, regulations, for example. So this is again are data sources that can be used when you're trying to build up something. So what we had done previously was on a PPB, if I'm not wrong. So let us see. PPB Kenya. So what we had done previously was on PPB, and we had seen the kind of data that PPB has, and this we had pulled, and this data is available online. I can leave the link in the description where we linked it to Affidata's Hugging Face um, page and also GitHub. So for example, these are PDFs that give you that kind of data. So in this case, we have this, we have KEMSA, and we have MOH data to some extent, which I haven't sat down and looked at it in depth. But now the idea is, okay, given we have this kind of data sources, then how can the procurement department in a hospital, in a level 2, 3 kind of facility, use an AI to make this process seamless? All right, so that's essentially it. So let's go out to the project and see what it does, or what's happening. So the idea here is we want to make an open source AI agent tool that helps healthcare enterprises plan their quarterly procurement by syncing data from KEMSA, PPB, and Ministry of Health. That's what we want to do. So the health enterprise here can be pharmacy, level 2, level 3. Think of any facility, basically. All right. The reason we are going to the national approach is we are trying to do it per the national guidelines, and I'm just thinking ahead for this in terms of evaluation and metrics. Most of the times you want this system to be marked via a ground truth, and most of the ground truth are documents or guidelines offered by the national government. So that's why I have based this procurement plan from KEMSA, PPB, and Ministry of Health. Again, that's just me thinking forward, but again, we can still adjust and see what fits best. So the idea here is that we want to sync Kenyan health data sources, KEMSA tenders, PPB registered products, and MOH calendar, weekly news, and what have you. And we want to have an AI-powered procurement planning. Okay, so for now, we'll just do it without the AI. That will think about data. At the end of the day, we want a web dashboard with alerts and deadlines. Maybe we can have a much better output, maybe PDF documents if that is more convenient for the facility. And then at the end of the day, we want REST APIs. So this is basically for documentation. The PDF I have already mentioned. And we are thinking of a way in which you can run offline. So that means that you don't have necessarily to be online to do this, but maybe you're only online when you're updating or you're doing that batch processing kind of maneuver. Okay. So that's the whole essence of the project. So that's what this README does. We can also change as we go along and as we go back and forth and try to figure this thing out. So that's it. So the second thing now is to understand the project structure and some of the things that are needed. So number one is obviously, where do I start from? Number one is obviously your requirements, the things that you require to run your project. So these are the requirements of TXT. Everything will be here. You can use PIP or UV. I prefer using UV, but these are just what DeepSeek provided, and I just copy pasted them in just to get me going. Again, the idea here is just to get you started and moving as fast as you can for you to see what's happening. So next is so I use UV to just track my dependencies and all that kind of stuff. So next, I will touch on okay, this is just Git ignored. So next is that we want to Dockerize this thing so that it can be shared across very many people. Remember, we want to make it open source so that other people can use it. So in this case, if I just go to the readme.md, the idea here is I give you this tool and then you can run it in your hospital database, or you can run it in your healthcare enterprise database. So that's the idea of making this agentic tool. We're not making a full-scale product. Okay, we're not making how can I put it? We want to make it sort of a tool that people can customize depending on their data source, as simple as that, to make things easier, right? So think about it this way: you have an agent, you have an AI agent over here, you have your tool, which you are making the tool, and then you have your database over here. So in this case, we're just providing the tool. You can have your AI model, you can have your databases, that's fine. So just providing the tool. Okay, so the idea here is that let's come up now to the project. So yeah, so I mentioned the Docker components. So this to enable it to be shared and all kind of stuff. That's okay. So the idea here is that let's go to the app. Yeah, the idea here is that we are making an AI agent tool. So mm, we will have some different components of the app, like agents, which has the procurement planner, which gives out the logic of the planner. I've just again copy pasted this from from DeepSeek. So that means that I need to go deep and understand what this line of codes do, the functionality, the functions inside. So for example, here I can see we have a class procurement planner agent that handles the tender, products, calendar, and news. And okay, this is the mock planner. Obviously, we created from MPOC. So in this case, this planner will be pulling data from the database. In this case, I'm from the way I'm seeing. From there, I'm seeing. Okay, so let us look at that. Okay, yeah. So basically, that's what I'm getting from just this overview. So again, now the task will be to really sit and see how useful this can be. Then the next thing is on API. Let me see. Yeah, next is on APIs. The calls that you'll be making to different can be databases, data sources. Let me see what we're making the call where we're making the calls to. Yeah, we're making the calls to the connector. So connector to the models. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, all right. So in production, background tasks will trigger real scrapers. Okay. So in this case, I don't know if people want to, I don't know if this tool, yeah, this tool actually might need a scraper. But the good thing is this data is open source. It's available for scraping. So I will look at how to make this work. So now that's where the challenge actually comes in, how to make this work. So then you have schemas.py. Okay, this is just easy. Then data, dummy data. Okay, we don't have anything there for now. Then here are the models. Let's see. So these are let me see. So these, I think these models now will go to the database. These are not like AI models or machine learning models, but rather these are how can I explain them? I'm missing the words for them. But these are more on the back end kind of things. These are the models that we define so that they will be migrated into the database, something like that. I've forgot the exact definition. Let us look at the definition of models in terms of models in terms of models in I can say in backend. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, models are data structures and classes that define the applications as the bridge between the controller logic and the database. Yes. So that's what models do. So in this case, they define the data structure. So as you can see here, the data structure here is that the facility name will be a string, the country name will be this, the budget name will be this. It also provides if there is it's a relational database in this case, this might be related to that. So the models provide that structure for the back end in this case. Okay, so we will probably have a hospital, KEMSA, MOH, PPB.py models, which now point to the database that should have these values. Okay, again, this again is just dummy data. It's keyed in there. We will have a deeper dive later on. Then lastly, it's the web. So for this, just we've gone just with HTML, nothing fancy. So the idea is we want just to get something out to view. So basic HTML will just do for now. But we will now see what it means to turn it into a more rigorous front end. Yeah, I will see. We'll look at the options. I'm not versed in front end stuff, so I will obviously go with the most easiest option that is out there. I will weigh my options and see what's out there. Okay, so that's basically the project overview. So in this case, we've gone over the code. Now let's go over the application itself and see what's happening. So after spinning the application, so where is it? 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 So don't mind the tabs anyway. So this is our application. It's running. It's a Kenya Health Procurement Planner. It's running locally. Obviously, a lot needs to be done for it to run now on the web or being hosted. But again, the idea here is, okay, how would it visually look like? What are the things that you maybe want to change? And these are the things maybe you present to someone who might be interested in such a thing, be it someone who works in a healthcare space, be it someone within the high pecking order for them to maybe implement such a thing within their facility or within their business, as simple as that. So again, this is just a demo. The idea here, we are using data sources from KEMSA, PPB, and Ministry of Health, open source data sets for you to plan your health procurement planner, as simple as that. So let's go into it. So this is the dashboard. This is what's happening. You can generate your procurement plan. So let us click. So for example, here I can say my facility is facility B. Then in this case, it's a pharmacy, and then it's in Mombasa County. So the monthly patient volume I get to see at my facility is like 500 patients coming out the pharmacy. Then my quarterly budget, remember this is a quarterly planner. We can obviously go all the way to monthly, weekly, or if that makes sense, but we just want to do quarterly. So let's say my quarterly budget in Kenyan shillings, I don't know how much budget will be, so I'll just put 100k. Let's just key that in, and then I'm planning for quarter 2, and I say generate plan. So once I generate plan, okay, this is dummy data. Again, we haven't done anything, we've just created dummy data. So then the alert gives me what's happening. Given the total budget of 100,000 shillings, then in facility B, it tells me the critical alerts. It gives me the recommended orders. So the idea here is that if you connect this agent to maybe your database, maybe you connect it with your whatever way you use to store your files. The idea is now it's supposed to give you recommendation based on these orders. Again, the point here is that this is a tool. Okay, so this tool, once you get this tool and you have, let's say, an agent or you have an LLM workflow, then it is able to give you this kind of output, as simple as that. So in this case, we have a tool, and then you bring in your whatever model you are using, you bring in whatever database you are using, and then it gives you this kind of output, as simple as that. So it gives you the recommended orders, item, quantity, unit, estimated, deadline, priority. This is the suppliers, reason. You see, so we've got very many things happening. I haven't dived deep into how to customize it or to make it much more appealing or to address the business in this case. Okay, so I can. Yeah, so alerts, upcoming alerts, I'm seeing the tool now gives you more upcoming alerts. Okay, great. And this is just the API documentation, showing you the documentation of the project. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so far I love the idea. What's next, I think for me is now to read the paper, figure out the data sources. That will be very important, and now how to make this work. So the idea here is this is completely AI generated. I didn't make much of the code, maybe just looking at what Claude was doing. Oh, that's something else I forgot to mention. So after creating this with DeepSeek, I ran it with now Claude on my laptop, just now to go over the areas DeepSeek had missed. And for that, I had created logs. So over here, you can see you have this logs document that has the fixes that Claude has done on DeepSeek's code. Okay, so that's again something very important that I forgot to mention. So by doing that, that means I have access to the bugs that are fixed, and then I will just now get my time to go over and over and over this until I understand, then see how to update all of this and see how to make it work, and hopefully ship the product or leave it within my other uncompleted projects. But at this point, I'm now trying to understand how the AI agent workflow happens, and specifically how to make tools for the Kenyan healthcare space. Yes, I think that's everything for now. We planned to do this for 2 hours. We've got 23 minutes to spare, and that's it for the day. Until next time. Bye bye. Oh, before I forget, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like these kinds of videos. Until next time, see you.